Hey, what's up, guys? It's me. I'm back. Jam does stuff. And look at that. It's been a whole new year. At the time of recording, we just got reveals for set 4. League of Villains looking lit, looking awesome. Characters are cool. Most of them. By most, I mean one. But, anyways, I'm back with you today. Since we're still in the middle of set 3 and still waiting for the Hero Worlds, whatever, Hero League Championship, whatever they want to call it, I've been really bored, as I'm sure a lot of you have too, because it's a bit stale and boring right now currently. So I've been trying to find and build just a bunch of decks. I've built a few more, and so far the one that's been clicking with me the most, other than Midoriya 2 right now, has been your boy, your cold, icy hot man, Shoto Todoroki 2. He has been so fun to me. He's just so far has been clicking with me the most, and I think that really was apparent when I first saw him. It's just I love Midoriya 2, and always will. But anyways, let's get on with the profile. And keep in mind as well, this is like kind of not my first draft, like my third, fourth, but still getting to hang with this character, still trying other things. But this is as of set 3, and this is what I've been looking at so far. And I do have a few other cards that maybe we'll go over at the end that I was heavily considering and that probably might put in the sideboard or just with more playtime and just more different characters that I play against and other things. As I get more used to this deck, they'll probably switch in and change and whatever. Let's go with this. Shoto Todoroki, 6 hand size, 27 health. So not a whole lot to work with, at least compared to Midoriya. He's got 29. And you know what he does. Once per turn, I can add a momentum to hand for both players, hopefully just myself, and then give a range attack stun 2, and give my attack 2/2, 2 speed, 2 damage. So he's pretty lit. Also, is it just me or does this art look better than this one? Like, I think this is cool, but I kind of like this one more, and I could not tell you why. Anyways, so first up, out of 3 of, we have Frozen Slash. This card is one of the ones that really got me. I was looking at it in my comment pile. I was like, huh. I give it 2/2. Then I give another one 2/2. And it's just good. It's like a buy one, get one free sale. And just for that, it's just amazing, cool. I think this goes in pretty much both Todoroki, since this can work in either. Has the other symbol for Todoroki 1. And then the other card that really made me want to build this deck was this one, Flame Scourger. It's not a very good card, I find, although it's not terrible. I just like it. I could not tell you why. Once again, it clicks with me. If your rival has more committed foundations than ready ones, get extra 3 damage. So what happens a lot, you'll find, is that you'll play this right after you play this. So this ends up becoming a 6 mid for 8 with an additional stun 1 on it. So this card is just decent poke for mid for 6 at the very least with it. And it's just pretty decent. This is one of those cards that you could really switch around for something that you like more, but I just like it. And then last, this is a little 2 of. This is a 3 of if I didn't mention. This 2 of. Breaker 1, Fury Range, Half Hot Ignition, 4 mid for 4. This, if you couldn't tell from the rest of these cards down here, I'm going for a more so as well. Flex your might. I'm going for the rendition of this deck where everything's dealing damage, mostly. Besides these two, everything else should deal damage. On that, technically. Everything else should deal damage, even full block, partial block, whatever. And so this is just another version of that. And because it's got Breaker 1, I figure, you have Jolts. Jolts is the standard, the best card. Kind of same with Grasping Tape Toss. But because of Todoroki's ability, and it will always deal 1 more or less, I figure having a 2 mid block with Breaker 1 isn't necessarily the worst thing to have. Another card that you could probably take out and nothing would really change your matter. But I just kind of like it. It's always pretty decent. And as well, for Jolt, I feel like this is standard. You have to play this, especially if you're playing a deck under any of these symbols. For Jolt, it's amazing, great. One of the best cards ever, I'd say. And then Indiscriminate Shock. This is pretty much the kill card, and under all these symbols, an amazing kill card for it. And it's just, this card just does so much. Especially if you have 2 of this, they're pretty much dead. I think we can all agree. It's got stun 2 on it pretty much because of its ability, and just gets a bunch of damage. And so give this stun 2 and speed and damage. Give this other stuff and stun 1. This has stun 1 and its momentum ability. And it more than likely, especially if you catch them on a backswing, you're able to backswing them. Pretty much their whole field is totally committed out. So your stun 2 from Todoroki and an extra stun 1 from both of these or whatever, and then them probably trying to block one of your other attacks, you'll probably be able to do their whole board worth of damage, which is amazing. And that's why 4 of this, because it's just, this is pretty much the kill card, the card you always end with. And 4 Grasping Tape Toss, this is a throw with stun and range, so it's really good in that regard. This is just another one of those attacks where if you really had the cojones, you could play a Tape Swing. But because I don't really want to, because I don't want to play another deck with a 2-check, as well, I just find this better because it's got the stun on its face, which lets me boost its damage with things like this, but we'll get to that in a minute. As well as just throw, so like it's bait for if they want to use their throw hate right away instead of say for this or any or jolt or this. So it's just good. It's just another good thing that I can boost damage on. So just really easy, really good. Also got Deadlock. These are your 2 attacks with Deadlock, only 2, and this one pretty dang good. And obviously the thing that really caps off these amazing attacks is Flex Your Might. Only have it at 2 of because we are a 6-hander, 60 card deck, in case I didn't mention that, which I don't think I did. Also 1 mid block because we don't have the best mid blocks or best blocks in general, so gotta take what we can get. But first form, Tape Swing does work better with the form since you has a higher printed damage, but you really just want to get this in there for its response and card pool. After your Jolt deals its 1 damage, after this potentially deals 1 damage, after this deals half from their block, commit another Foundation. This just adds to the whole commit their board, and then you indiscriminate them. And it's just amazing and beautiful. So that's all those. 20 attacks and then the 2 actions. And down here are the rest of the 60 card, so like 38, if I do my math correctly in my head, is Foundations. So for Desperate Times, this card I think is pretty much standard if you're going for your order stun them out play with indiscriminate with anything, because it's just good flip cost for them. If they draw to try and block something with Passing Torch on their turn or whatever, just flip and they commit more cards. And then 2 Bonds of Friendship. I don't have this for the 6-check or for the Fury. It's really more so just for the spam and the 1 high block, because I don't have the best of high block or the best of blocks in general, I find. So I just have 2 of this. It's just a decent block. As soon as we get better cards, I can see this instantly being replaced. And I have 2 Final Exam Failures. Just a kind of neat card. And then right away, I'm just going to skip to 2 Drowning Resentment. Flip, this attack gets, stun attack gets 2 damage or minus 2 damage. Play well committed, and then its response, which doesn't come up too often. But, so this is the first thing I want to go over is from me playing. I could totally see not playing this card at all. I think it's kind of good, kind of bad. Very middle of the road. Because this can give this more damage, can give pretty much everything more damage while committed, so it's good in that regard, and I do like it for that. But playing like 3 or 2 of these on their turn, especially since the standard's at least a 5, like on a bad day, they check 5s, and they have to check a difficulty of 6. That's at the very least, like, in a way, stun 1, which you also flip. And to play 2 of those, stun 2, essentially. So I could definitely see you maybe playing more of this as opposed to this if you're going more for committing. And I like that play. And they have the 2, they play the same way, essentially. 2 difficulty, 2 high block. So if you wanted to, I'm considering that, but I do kind of like where I have it, because this is playable while committed, which I do like just for an extra damage pump. And 2, charge it up. This card is amazing. I added 1 in my first build just to try and see what worked. And this card, I had to add it to 2 because it's remove cost. And it basically is after any of your other stuff, after your Jolt deals 1, after this deals 1, after this on half block deals its damage, you add 1 card from your discard pile to your momentum. This card lets you basically use your discard pile as your second hand with Todoroki's ability, also making it your second hand. Your momentum and your discard pile are kind of like your second hand. Mostly momentum, because the way Todoroki is. But this card also lets your discard pile partially be it, because it just says 1 card. So if you wanted to, for whatever reason, you could add 1 of these to your momentum. Not that I do, but mostly is you open your hand, you have 3 Jolt, and you have like 2 Frozen Slashers. Like, how do I kill them though? So you deal your damage with your Jolt, because surely they can't block all of them. And then you remove this, and you add your Indiscriminate Shock, and you use your Todoroki ability to grab your shock from momentum. That card's amazing, beautiful. I love it. That's why I have it at the 2 of. This it's basically a search card, but without being a search card. And that's why I love it. I could totally see more of this or less of this if you don't really like removing your Foundations, which I also don't. But that's why I have it at the 2 of, because as long as you have like 1 on the board, or if you just play the deck right and just draw your cards good, you probably won't need it, or you will need it. It'll save the day sometimes. And that's why I love that card. Then next for this, Quest Assistance. requesting assistance. Bleh. This card amazing. You flip when you have momentum and ready stuff. This just lets you survive and live, which is amazing. I have 4 calling for backup. I could definitely see you taking a few of these out, but at the same time, sometimes just the extra draw is what you need, so you can be a 8, 9, 10-hander with this. It's just lets you see more cards for block or just for dealing damage for on aggro, and it's just great. And for ice gliding, also very standard, lets you survive and negate speed. It's just good surviving card. And lows, there's a lot of good cards in the order with low block. 2 self-sacrifice. This is your get out of deadlock free card as well. Has a neat little interaction with heroic lineage where if you destroy something to give your opponent's attack an extra damage, you can use heroic lineage to give it the minus speed. So that's a cool little interaction that I like. 2 fruits of our labor, just another deadlock threat because we don't really have a whole lot. As well, it's just good during my turn or your rival's turn. Remove this card from card pool, any card. So if I have 2 attacks in my card pool that I blocked with, or 2 foundations, boom, minus difficulty for me. And 2 rock and attitude. This card is in a similar vein to Charged Up, where I have my jolt in my hand. I added jolt to my hand after using Todoroki during my opponent's turn to block with it. I block with it. I remove this and send it back to momentum. So then I get to flip, use its ability again. As well, I get it for my turn when I use Todoroki to add something to my hand. And once again, only 2 of, because I don't really like to remove my foundations. As well, it doesn't really come up too often. But charge or stun attack, which all these are either charge or stun for the most part. That's not, that is, this is not, that is. So pretty much all of them work with this card. And it's amazing. And 3 heroic lineage. I could see you adding another one of this or getting rid of this for the other cards I'll talk about that I chose over this. But this card's all like your specialist of sound for minus speed if need be, as well when you give something speed, extra damage. I will say actually never mind. Cut. Just kidding. Making a stand. This card I love so much. This is like one of my favorite cards just because it's simple. Stun attack gets extra damage. And that means all of these get extra damage. And you say, this doesn't have stun, that doesn't have stun. You're wrong. Todoroki gives it stun. So if I have as many of these out as possible, I get so much just free damage. As well, momentum hate. So if you're playing air symbol, so if they have their own requesting assistance, just flip this. They can't ready anything. And it's amazing. And then Proud Scion. This card I just kind of like as a neat one of. This is another card you could totally just take out. Nothing would really change. Because it's not a very good block. Nothing else. Good deadlock response. Pretty good. But as well, just if they have their rescue completed or their specialist of sounds or their whatever, let's fight bad guys for making their stuff faster as well. Just you do this on theirs. And not only is it another card committed during their turn, might I add, but it's also just like targeting removal. Oh, I don't want you to use that card. Oh, no, that card. It lets you say no to a lot of things. And that's pretty much it for the deck that I have all together here. I think it's very good. I love it. I like it. I'm having a ton of fun with it. And I just think it's really cool and good. Now, if you would not mind and humor me a little bit, cards that I was highly considering. Engine Trouble. For the same reason as other cards, this is just click commit. It commits another card, so it's good. It's got 1 low block. Good in that card. Breaker as well, which is neat. I can totally see this in side deck just for if they have an asset, if they have like training weights or something that's just giving you trouble, commit it. As well, just foundation. It's like use Proud Scion. Okay, I don't want to use Rescue Completed. Oh, I don't want to use what's a good card? Passing the Torch. I don't want you to use Passing the Torch. You can't use it anymore because of that. And other good cards. There's a bunch of good cards here that it was under highly consideration for me. Cribulation's a decent card just for living because I like to live because the minus damage. Same with Passing Torch. Just, you can draw because sometimes you just need extra cards to block with or extra cards to attack with, you know. Think Fast. I could probably slip this in somewhere just as a one-up decent block, and then just because you know a high attack version of Indiscriminate Shock that just kills people as well, especially when they see it and they're holding all their lows, and you just use this and it's just never mind, it's a high, and they're like, oh well, I can't block it, and that's just good for that reason. Same with say Gotcha and Tape. Tape is just really good, but because like I use a lot of say Jolts more so, I'd rather not make it a mid so I can block it with high if they have a high attack or whatever. I could totally see this replacing like maybe two of the calling for backup because they have the same. They do same numbers. One difficulty 3 mid block, but it's just a different job. And as well, it depends what you're seeing, what you're preparing for. I might put this in at a 2 of now because it's just a good card, solid, good, amazing card. Then, as for other cards, Warding the Victor, this is also another. This is amazing because one high block, 3 diff unique. So you just put it in at the 1 of, and if it comes up, it comes up. But basically, flip after your attack deals damage, after your jolt, after icy hot ignition or whatever it is, or your tape throw. After it deals damage, you add it to the top of your deck, which so -1 to your difficulty, or same as before, and +2. So it's basically like you checked another foundation, checked a 5. It's really good in that regard. This card I'm always considering. Love that. An unexpected hero. This is probably the card I will change out for, say, a heroic lineage because same job once again, but as well has the added benefit of if whenever my opponent discards cards. So if I guess Midoriya is doing things, that's what I always think of. I get to draw another card, as well as just flip -3 speed +3 damage. It's like heroic lineage where it's the minus speed, but I get to choose, which I like it more. And it's not response, so for that regard, I love that card a lot. And other little spicy things here: intimidating presence when it's in the card pool, and so when you block with it, -1 speed to the rest of stuff makes it easier to block. As well, it's just decent because it's 2 mid. And response after your rival readies 1 or more foundations, flip one of them. That's pretty good. Obviously, for just limiting their resources, especially if they're readying stuff. But nothing right now is really readying things, I find. That's why I don't like that card right now. And then challenging the fakes. This card's always just kind of neat, where you take this attack, give it -1 damage while you're at it, and since you won't block it, their next check gets -2. And even though that doesn't end their combat phase, which is very balanced, the -2 to check, essentially, yeah, their -2 to check is essentially like stun, where if they really want this card to go through, they have to commit more stuff to it. It's essentially like Breaker 2 or +2 difficulty, whatever, And it's good for that, but this is also basically just a 1 of. And Hero Killer, this card's really just cool. And where after they build something, so if you go first, you build these, and they build Passing the Torch, Rescue Completed, Petty Squabble, anything, you can just say no to that. But the reason why I don't have it is Deadlock form, only half the cards playable is basically the sum up because I don't run any weapon cards, at least weapon attack. So this is once again dead and a dud to me. Okay. And as for these are the last few cards I've been considering. Null Participation. This card, just once again find it neat, where have it as a 1 of, and if they back alley you or they are gonna powerful you if you're going against like a Bakugo or like a All Might 1, and just nope, that goes all the way to 0. So if they trying to pump Bakugo's trying to pump his powerful attack all the way to powerful 5, nope, it's at 0. So does it get powerful 2 instead? I don't know. I just find that as a neat card. And in Conflict of Ideologies, you freeze your stuff after your deals damage, after your jolt, your icy hot ignition or whatever, and your throw after it deals damage, you freeze the stuff. So it's basically like stun on their turn again. Plus you have jolt and such. This card also really like it. Very good. Would come again. Would subscribe. And Idle Work, I like this card a lot. It would takes up the job I find of Fruits of Labor or Self-Sacrifice, where it's get out of deadlock free card. But as well, if this card, I just like it for the fact of if they're catching on to your deck of always deal at least 1 damage, and so they side in the Faith Shields and the Wall Clings, this card kind of makes it a little better because it's also like the calling for backup where, okay, that's fine. This may deal no damage, but I'll draw a card. And then Influencing the Youth, you could have, I would probably put this in the sideboard if I go with this competitively, which I will try to. But this card's just decent, or it's just like they have most of their stuff committed, and they have like 2, 3, maybe 4, and you have your Indiscriminate Shock, and you're like, what else do you have up? I'll get rid of those. Just remove this, and then they commit the rest of it. So that's a pretty cool card, but I think that's mostly sideboard material. And then Can't Escape Me. This is once again just a preference thing. I'm a little bit bad with timing and thinking things or figuring out which things are the problem or the things I need to stop. So for me, after this response, after you destroy after you play an ability on a non-character card that adds any number of cards. So if I drawing or searching or just adding, cancel it. That, like, don't get me wrong, it's an amazing effect. I just have a bit of a weird and hard time figuring out when I need to do that. That's my problem with this card. But as well, it's Deadlock. It gets an extra speed for each committed rival foundation. This plus your Indiscriminate just kills them unless they have like plus Ultra or the Monoma Foundation. But why would they? Because they're not Monoma and they're not set 1 character more than likely. Actually, no, they might be. But the fact is that card just kills people with combination. But you need to get to Deadlock for that. And I feel like they won't a lot of time because a lot of people just still wimp out of it. But this card also, love this. Love this. So this is sideboard material. And that's pretty much it. These are all like the cards that I would really try and slip in somewhere would be like these three. Mostly like these two. But that's pretty much it. And it was like I was saying, this is it for the cards I was considering that you could probably try. This is Shoto Todoroki 2 under the order symbol. If you guys like my deck profile, like me, like my other deck profiles, and you want me to see me do good, make more videos, like, subscribe, pretty please, and just keep watching, keep rewatching, leave comments, do something so I know to do more of these. But that's all. Thank you for your time and your view, and I'll catch you guys all next time. God bless your day, guys.